Hey guys, well, someone sent me something pretty interesting in the mail today. It's a blank case that just has a paper that says Haunted PS1 Demo Disc. Well, there's a letter inside, so let's see what this is all about. Dear Jay, I found this weird bootleg PS1 demo disc at a local yard sale here in New Jersey. I tried looking it up online, but I couldn't find any info on it, and I don't have a console myself to try it out on. So I figured I'd send it to you to check out. P.S. The house that was doing the yard sale was one that I'd never noticed before, and when I drove by it the next day, it looked like it had been abandoned for years, the owner's nowhere in sight. Maybe I just drove down the wrong street by accident? Well, anyway, good luck. 17 nightmarish demos. Try them all before they get you. Well, I was trying to find something to play for Halloween anyway. I don't have a PS1 to play it on, but my legendary simulator should work just fine. Alright, let's check this thing out. Oh nice, it starts with its own unique PS1 opening, including a little spooky ghost and the PlayStation logo. And here we have the selection screen with some chill drum and bass music to keep us busy while we decide what to play. The whole aesthetic of this is spot on to the PS1 demo discs I remember playing as a kid, even including the tiny video screen showing brief snippets of the selected game, and the included descriptions too. Well, we do have 17 demos to get through, so we better get started. First we have Neko Yume, which would mean cat dream in Japanese. Neko Yume is an ambient exploration game in which you traverse a cat-filled dream world. Sounds about right? Wait a minute. This looks really familiar. Yup, just what I thought. This looks exactly like LSD Dream Emulator, an infamous Japanese PS1 game that also had you walking around bizarre dream environments. Except this one happens to have a cat theme. Maybe instead of being inside of a person's dreams, you're experiencing the dreams of a cat. There actually isn't a ton to say about this one. Even in the game that this was heavily inspired by, there was kind of hardly any game at all. You really just walk around and look at stuff in a set number of locations, teleporting around until you eventually wake up. Then it's on to the next day where you dream some more. There isn't really any specific goal or way to beat the game, but things do tend to get weirder the farther you get into it, with some dream days even being taken up by weird live-action cutscenes instead of the normal gameplay. Neko Yume actually has less environments to explore than LSD, and it's harder to visit them too since teleporting doesn't happen nearly as often. That being said, this is a demo, so a full version would likely have a lot more to it. I wonder if they... Oh yeah, they did. They even have the occasional weird live-action cutscene. Except they're focused on cats. I actually really love how dedicated of a spiritual sequel this is. Not a bad demo to start off with. Next up is Filthbreed. Filth comes crawling out of the cracks. Straight to the point. I like it. And there's a roach on the title screen. That's bound to creep people out right away. Here we play as a low-ranking detective sent to investigate suspicious activity happening in an abandoned warehouse. Looks like we got an FPS game, or an FP game at least. We don't have a gun for some reason. What kind of cop are we? These are some sketchy notes. Sounds like there was cultist activity going on here. No enemies so far though. Oh, there's a gun. About time. Let's just grab that. What's that noise? Oh Jesus! Scary clockwork zombies. Okay, that's pretty cool. As we explore the rundown place, we discover increasingly disturbing notes alluding to roaches infesting people from the inside out, and more of the creepy clockwork enemies. You're given just enough ammo that it feels tense yet fair, and the environment is just great for a horror title, though I must admit it looks pretty polished for a PS1 game. The demo, while short, actually has 3 different endings too, including one you can get by immediately turning around and leaving as soon as the gameplay starts. Story-wise, it means that you immediately wimped out on the case and quit the force soon after out of shame. This is aptly named the ultimate wuss ending. Okay, that's pretty funny. Now we have Until Big Light, narrative adventure about mice, fat cats, and the never-ending quest for cheddar. We all know how that be. Here we play as a struggling mouse who's short on his rent, so he goes out in the middle of the night, or the no light as they call it, to find a way to make some quick cheddar. We go around chatting with other mice and learn about the vicious economical world the characters are living in, apparently run by some dominating entity known as the Fat Cats. What starts as us simply trying to find an odd job to make ends meet, leads to us inadvertently joining some mousy revolution to overthrow our seemingly feline oppressors. It starts off pretty tame and it's kinda dialogue heavy, but things do get pretty interesting as it goes on. The POV of the game is also in a permanent Dutch angle, which is a bit disorienting. It's like my head is stuck being tilted at one side and I just can't straighten it out. Yeah, it's weird, but I gotta give it points for trying something different. The demo even ends on a pretty good cliffhanger that leaves you wanting more, which means it did its job. Next is Fatum Vetula. Placed in a world without change, you must create fate by watering an ancient plant, determine a future, and live with it. Instructions seem clear enough? So we're in this temple with this floating plant, and to be honest, I'm not sure what to do here. Hang on, we have a letter. Maybe its seemingly ambiguous words is actually giving us a hint. She traveled to the end of a narrow stone path. The sight of nothing stole her gaze and she waited still. Alright, this kinda looks like a stone path. Doesn't hurt to try. I'm not seeing anything. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that seems safe to wait for. So the big, smiley creature says a lot of fancy stuff, but basically he just wants you to fill these vials up with liquid to feed the plant. The rest of the demo isn't that big, but it sure does leave an impression, particularly in this area with this little hut on a peaceful lake. Gosh, just listen to that ambient noise and soft synthy music. It almost just makes you wanna take a nap. Okay, we're in hell now apparently. The trippy reflection effect here is insane. I don't think I've ever seen this done before. It's really impressive. Is that an actual image of someone's mouth in the background? Oh, and here's Mr. Floating Man with his guts hanging out. That's pretty chill. I think we've probably seen enough of this one. Moving on. Here's Insomnia, which is Latin for in a dream, but also Spanish for insomnia, which is kind of the opposite. A collection of 5 different experiences attempting to recreate my dreams as a game. The description pretty much explains everything. Like Neko Yume, it's less of a game and more you walking among strange environments. The difference here, however, is that instead of randomly generated weirdness, these are 5 very focused experiences, all based on actual self-contained dreams that someone's had. They each even have their own titles. You ever have a really strange dream that hit you in a particular way, but you could just never really describe it well enough to get that feeling across to others? This guy decided to just make a game to explain them. It's short, it's restrictive, and it's hardly even a game, but I actually really loved this demo, and would be eager to see a larger game based around this same concept.
I can control where this train is headed, you know.
There's just something fascinating about dreams, and seeing someone's personal recreation of them using PS1 style graphics is really cool. Next is Snowy Castle. Navigate the castle grounds to relight candles in this atmospheric exploration game. The premise to this one is super simple. We just have to wander around the snowy castle and light all 24 candles that are scattered about. Finding them all seems tricky at first, but we actually have a magical lighter which lights up when one is near, and it even points us in the right direction like a compass. There's no enemies or time limit or anything like that, so you're basically just left to explore and enjoy the frosty environment at your own pace. What happens when you light all 24 candles though? Now we have Heartworm. Sam receives a strange tape in the mail. Watching it brings her to a deeply unsettling place that feels strangely familiar. This one explains a pretty defined premise, main character's name and all. Right off the bat, it's a classic survival horror tank control game, and that gets a thumbs up from me already. Except instead of a zombie-infested mansion, we're inside of a studio apartment, and instead of Umbrella Lab notes, we have a clinician's report, apparently explaining that we have quite a few issues going on psychologically, including PTSD. I wonder what happened. Wait, we have anxiety disorder, unspecified, but then also generalized anxiety disorder? More like we have redundancy disorder. Ha ha ha. So someone suspiciously throws a tape into our mailbox, we put it into the VCR, and suddenly we're thrust into a new world. One that suspiciously looks like it represents some memory Sam wants locked away. I mean, just look at those signs. So the rest of this demo, we're basically just exploring this house, finding key items, and reading the occasional text. The music, visuals, and tone of everything feels pretty good, but I'll admit the text documents are pretty wordy. Mostly just science and philosophical stuff that could probably have some fat trimmed for pacing while still keeping the intended purpose. Next up is Killer Bees. The found footage from the Killer Bees case has been leaked online. You can witness what the officials hid for all these years, strictly 18 plus. Ooh, this one is starting off meta right away. So what did you expect? We got a live action opening of Killer Bees and naked mannequins? I don't know if I could show that on YouTube. Oh no, it's one of my biggest gaming pet peeves. Instead of a standard difficulty that clearly lets you know what the default option is, we have a choice between easy and hard. Why you do this to me? I guess I'll go with easy for the sake of this review, and maybe check out hard after if it feels worth it. Anyway, when you actually get into the game, it has this really cool VHS tape effect. Though if you find it's making things hard to parse, you actually have the option to turn it off. Your health and stamina is indicated by meters, which is pretty standard, but interestingly your weapon ammo is gauged by its own meter as well. Anyway, can you guess what the enemies in this game are? That's right, it's killer bees. Whole swarms of them actually, and funny enough your guns are pretty ineffective against them. Guess it kinda makes sense, shooting at a swarm of bees probably wouldn't get you very far. You can actually kill the swarms, but they take a lot of hits, so you need to keep backing away and avoiding as you unload on them. Even when you find the shotgun, it still doesn't seem to do any more damage to the pesky bug tornadoes as the handgun. I love the aesthetic of this game, and the idea of your enemies just being swarms of killer bees is different. But the one thing I feel that really holds this back are all these moments of waiting. Sometimes you run into these red barriers that will only go away after you've killed all the bees in the area. That's fine, except that every time you kill one swarm, you're basically just waiting around for a while until the next one shows up. Even after you've removed all the red from the barrier, it still takes a while for that to go away too. I didn't even realize it was going to go away the first time it happened. Even the ending of the game has a weirdly drawn out waiting period where bees start to cover the screen at an agonizingly slow pace. I'd say shorten some of those waiting times, maybe add a sound effect for when the barrier's vanishing, and it would tighten things up a bit. Oh, and maybe don't make the bees take a million shots to kill. Up next is Sauna 2000, how futuristic. Sauna warming simulator, feel Finland. Finland feels you. Is that supposed to be cute or is it threatening? I can't tell. This game gives you really simple instructions right up front. Chop wood, carry water from lake to sauna, warm the sauna, heat the bathing water, enjoy. Oh, and drink beer responsibly. That's an important one. The colors in this game are wild, really high saturation, which kind of fits with the fact that it takes place during sunset. So yeah, you basically just do exactly as the game told you to. Prepare the sauna for a nice hot bath. Was this game put on this demo disc by mistake? It's just a relaxing sauna simulator. Just make sure to get it prepared and heated before the sun sets. Why? Believe me, just do it. In the meantime, just relax, take your time, chop some wood, fetch some water. What was that? Probably nothing. Now where were we? Oh yeah, just gotta get some more water, fill it up. Now we just gotta find those matches. Where are the matches? Where are... Oh, giant goat demon. Go to the sauna, go to the sauna, go to the... Oh, nope. Now we're in a demonic sauna dimension. The walls are warping and there's dead bodies on the floor. Next we have Dead Heat. Games, lies, murder mystery, and zombies in the twilight years of the 21st century. Okay, a zombie detective game apparently. Seemingly named after the 1980s zombie buddy cop movie of the same name. Here you can choose between anime-looking cop girl and zombie cop girl. I like how she has a human age and a zombie age. That actually kind of makes sense if you think about it. The background objects in this game look great. I love the lighting on the cop cars here especially, though the text can be hard to read at times. There isn't a whole lot to this demo. You and your partner are woken up late at night for a case, you walk down the street, and the forensic guy gives you some info before telling you where to go. Well, he starts to anyway before his dialogue stops showing up. We walk back to our car, and then suddenly we're booted to the title screen? I wasn't sure if this was a glitch or not, but my friend tried the demo out for himself and found the same result. It's strange because the game mentions all these options like choosing between two different characters, picking what type of cop you are, and the controls mention a ton of interaction options that were never used. I'm guessing the full game has a lot more planned. Moving on to Dread Delusion. In the clockwork god's realm where state-approved magic is regulated by machines, a dark corruption is taking hold. A small-scale open-world RPG, and indeed that's what it is. This is another game with some really beautiful retro visuals. While the demo doesn't give you a whole lot to do or any enemies to fight, it does establish the world you're living in, lets you choose one of two lowly positions, Petty Enforcer or Scribe, and it lets you explore the landscape a bit. This looks like something fans of older open-world RPGs like Daggerfall or Morrowind might really enjoy. Ode to a Moon. For centuries, the town of Ashfield has celebrated Thanksgiving with a week-long festival, but everything changed in 1986. What happened? Let's find out. Or let's not actually, because I do not know what the hell is going on in this game. It starts off simple enough in a small apartment with a really cool CTR-style border. As we leave to investigate the town mentioned in the description, however, things start getting trippy. A walk through a dark forest becomes a hallucinatory drug trip really quick. I'll be honest, I got lost for a while here, having no idea which way to go and looping around in circles quite a bit. Eventually I did find my way, however, and man, these visuals are far out. What are we, taking a stairway to hell? Next is A Place Forbidden. The Library of Ouroboros and its vast store of occult knowledge is finally within your reach. In the end, it was almost too easy to find. I wonder why. Here we play as a power-hungry protagonist who has just made their way to a secret library in search of books that will grant them powers of the occult. This one takes a different approach than most of the other games, having us search through what seem to be random and insignificant books at first, but eventually start revealing clues on how to progress through the Forbidden Library. As you can guess, things start turning south the closer we get to our greedy goal. And yeah, it gets pretty scary. Effigy. Explore an abandoned prison moon that has been overrun by a cult of former inmates in this fast-paced retro FPS. Sounds kinda like Doom, right? Oh yeah, it really sounds like Doom. So yeah, you run around blasting aliens, finding keys to get through doorways, and occasionally chatting with the friendly local who gives you tips about what might be going on here. I like these power orb keys that you have to take from subwoofer to subwoofer under a time limit, and you can actually find some pretty neat power-ups as you play too, including a double jump. How often do FPS games have a double jump? Next up is Orange County. Elon's Children, the beige. Middle class housing, the beige. Sprinklers, the beige. Your skateboard feels like the only real thing in this place. What? I guess they're describing Orange County? In this game, you play as a skateboarder innocently searching around town at night for various vending machines while doing your best to avoid oncoming traffic and police carts. Your goal is to simply find some snacks ranging from soda to chicken to chips and salsa. Damn, that's a fancy vending machine. I love the sound it makes when you obtain a snack. They make it seem so dramatic. Oh no, flavored water. It kind of reminds me of that scene from The Shining where the fact that it's Tuesday is apparently really scary. Careful crossing the street. If a car hits you, you'll get no'd and have to start all over. If a sprinkler hits you or you take too long to find snacks, the screen starts getting really distorted, making things harder to see. The sound effects in this demo are actually really well done. From the sound of the skateboard rolling along the concrete, to the ambient noise of the vending machines, to the crinkling of the snack wrappers that you're picking up. Makes me wonder if they did legit Foley for this game. Moving on to the penultimate demo, we have Erasure. Working alone at night, only the hum of dozens of deep simulation pods to keep you company. Something is waiting for you. Oh man, that's quite the setup. The game starts us off with this really abstract puzzle that doesn't make sense at first, but it should click with you eventually. Just gotta rotate these things into the correct places and... oh, apparently we were assembling someone's dog. But don't worry, just in a virtual sense. Turns out, as the description stated, we're a lone worker at some facility that houses a bunch of people living in deep simulation pods. Of their own free will? I'm not so sure. It's our job to overlook everything and even to dispose of those who have died in their pods. Aside from the trippy virtual worlds, everything seems to be going pretty smoothly until one mysterious user starts causing trouble. We try jacking into their own pod to take care of things, but oh yeah, that's not working so well. You know what, this is a pretty looking security breach though, I gotta say. When the hacker isn't flashing scary images at you in an attempt to interrupt your puzzle solving, that is. This is a creepy one. Alright, we finally made it to the very last demo in the compilation. Let's hope that we save an especially spooky one for last. Tasty Ramen, a colorful horror game about a haunted ramen mascot. Okay, ramen monster, let's see what you got. Okay, so we're in a colorful ramen shop, there's lots of noodle packets, and these red keys. I guess we need to take these to the front door to escape? I'll be honest, this is more cute than scary. I mean, everything squeaks when you interact with it. Wait, I hear squeaking in the distance too. Could that be... Oh, there he is. That's what we're supposed to be scared of? Well, he's just a cute little... Oh. Okay, not gonna lie, this little dude is actually intimidating. Your only options besides running are throwing ramen packets in his path so he gets distracted. This may seem like a pretty simple little game, but honestly it's one of the more fun and intense demos in this entire collection. You never know just when this little ramen man might attack, causing you to reset all progress you made with unlocking the door. This is a great example of how even cute aesthetics can make for a good horror game. Whew, okay, that was the last one. You know, I had a lot of fun checking out all these different spooky game demos. It's really cool seeing how many different variations of horror game you can see from the minds of so many different types of developers. I'll admit though, 17 games was a lot to get through all in a row like that, even if they were demos. So, I'm pretty glad to be finished with them all. Wait a second. What was that?